Have all members voted? On this vote, the yeas are 190, the nays are 200. The motion is not adopted. The question is on the passage of the bill. Those in favor say aye. Those opposed, no. Opinion of the chair, the ayes have it.
Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker.
This is the gentleman from New Jersey, seek recognition.
I ask for the yeas and nays.
The yeas and nays are requested. Those favoring a vote by the yeas and nays will rise. Sufficient number having risen, the yeas and nays are ordered. Members will record their votes by electronic device. This is a 5-minute vote. On this vote, the yeas are 219, the nays are 186. The bill is passed. Without objection, a motion to consider is laid on the table. Pursuant to Clause 8 of Rule 20, the unfinished business is the vote on the passage of House Joint Resolution 136, on which the yeas and nays are ordered. The clerk will report the title of the joint resolution.
House Joint Resolution 136, joint resolution providing for congressional disapproval under Chapter 8 of Title 5 United States Code of the rule submitted by the Environmental Protection Agency relating to multi-pollutant emission standards for model years 2027 and later, light-duty and medium-duty vehicles.
The question is on the passage of the joint resolutions. Members will record their vote by electronic device. This is a 5-minute vote.
On this vote, the yeas are 215 and the nays are 191. The joint resolution is passed without objection. The motion to reconsider is laid on the table. Pursuant to Clause 8 of Rule 20, the unfinished business is the vote on the motion of the gentleman from Ohio, Mr. Jordan, to suspend the rules and pass the bill H.R. 9106 as amended. The clerk will report the title.
H.R. 9106, a bill to direct the Director of the United States Secret Service to apply the same standards for determining the number of agents required to protect presidents, vice presidents, and major presidential and vice presidential candidates, and for other purposes.
The question is, will the House suspend the rules and pass the bill as amended? Members will record their votes by electronic device. This is a 5-minute vote. On this vote, the yeas are 405, the nays are 0. Two-thirds being in the affirmative, the rules are suspended. The bill is passed, and without objection, the motion to reconsider is laid on the table. Good job.
For what purpose does the gentleman from West Virginia seek recognition?
Mr. Speaker, I ask unanimous consent that the House Committee on House Rules be discharged from further consideration of House Resolution 1470 and ask for its immediate consideration in the House.
The clerk will report the title of the resolution.
House Resolution 1470, resolution expanding the jurisdiction of the task force on the attempted assassination of Donald J. Trump.
Is there objection to the consideration of the resolution? Without objection, the resolution is agreed to, and the motion to reconsider is laid on the table. For what purpose does the gentleman from West Virginia seek recognition?
Mr. Speaker, I ask unanimous consent that when the House adjourns today, it adjourn to meet on Monday next, when it shall convene at noon for morning hour debate and 2 p.m. for legislative business.
Without objection. The chair will now entertain requests for 1-minute speeches. Order in the House, please. For what purpose does the gentlewoman from California seek recognition?
Consent to address the House for 1 minute.
Without objection.
Mr. Speaker, I rise to honor the brave Vietnamese refugees who fled oppressive communism after the Vietnam War. I have filed a resolution proclaiming September Boat People Awareness Month in honor of those who risked their lives at sea to escape. These individuals were searching for freedom and a better life. I'm incredibly proud to say that many of them found it in Orange County, California. More specifically, they settled in the community known as Little Saigon that I represent. Our country rightfully welcomed them with open arms. Sadly, many boat people did not survive the rough conditions. Dangerous waters and overcrowding took many lives. We still honor their memory and pursuit of freedom. And we must use their story to fight for the rights of all people suffering under the weight of communism to this day. Thank you, and I yield back.
For what purpose does the gentlewoman from Missouri seek recognition? Without objection, the gentlewoman is recognized for 1 minute.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. St. Louis and I rise today to say that state-sanctioned violence has no place in a humane society. Next Tuesday, Marcellus Khalifa Williams is scheduled to be executed for a crime he didn't commit. Despite credible evidence of Williams' innocence and mass scrutiny over the fairness of this trial, Missouri Governor Mike Parson and the courts have yet to stop an innocent man from being executed. Within the last 4 decades, only 4 individuals on death row have been exonerated in Missouri. Since 1973, at least 200 people have been exonerated from death row in the U.S. A 2014 study estimated that at least 4% of those sentenced to death are innocent, a majority of whom are black and brown. I am urging Governor Parson not to let another innocent man be murdered at the hands of the state. He must heed this call. And as a proud co-sponsor of the Federal Death Penalty Prohibition Act, Congress must also act. Let's end this racist, this flawed and inhumane practice once and for all. Save the life of this innocent man. Thank you, and I yield back.
For what purpose does the gentleman from West Virginia seek recognition?
Seek to address the House for 1 minute and revise and extend my remarks.
Without objection, the gentleman is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to commemorate the life of an American patriot from West Virginia, Asa Davidson Jr., who passed away on the 80th anniversary of D-Day in June of this year. Asa, a World War II veteran, had celebrated his 100th birthday just months before his passing. He enlisted in the United States Army in 1943 and proudly served in an all-black regiment known as Harlem Hellfighters until 1946. He would often recount how his Bible, gifted to him by his mother, sitting in a pocket near his heart, stopped a bullet and saved his life. That same Bible remains a treasured possession to his family today. Asa was blessed with 73 years of marriage to his wife Ethel. They lived in their whole lives in Fairmont, West Virginia, raising their 3 sons, Asa, Brian, and Gregory. He was a grandpa of 8 and great-grandpa of 11. Asa worked at the Fairmont Post Office for 34 years and was well known for his volunteer work in the community. He truly lived a life of service. His legacy will continue to inspire many in the community that he loved. I yield back.
For what purpose does the gentlewoman from North Carolina seek recognition?
To address the House for 1 minute, revise and extend my rights.
Without objection, the gentlewoman is recognized for 1 minute.
Mr. Speaker, I rise today to celebrate the 30th anniversary of the signing of the Violence Against Women Act. Over the past 30 years, we have made major strides to reduce the rates of domestic violence and sexual assault, but there is much more to be done. In 2022, Congress and President Biden continue to build on this landmark legislation with the most recent bipartisan reauthorization of VAWA. I'm proud that the VAWA reauthorization included my bill that will enable more survivors to receive timely, trauma-informed care from sexual assault nurse examiners. These specialized nurses are trained to provide comprehensive medical and emotional care. They're also equipped to collect forensic evidence that can be used in court. We owe it to survivors who endured unspeakable trauma to ensure that they get the care and the support that they need. Let's continue working together to end the abuse that women have faced for far too long. Thank you, and I yield back.
For what purpose does the gentleman from Georgia seek recognition?
Ask unanimous consent to address the House for 1 minute, to revise and extend my remarks.
Without objection, the gentleman is recognized for 1 minute.
Mr. Speaker, I rise today to mourn the loss of Barry Brown, who sadly passed away this August at 69 years old. Barry was a Savannah native through and through. After graduating from Savannah High School, he dedicated over 20 years to serving the Savannah and Tybee Island communities. From serving on the Planning Commission, the City Council, and as Mayor Pro Tem, Barry's natural-born leadership set a valuable example for everyone around him. Mr. Brown also faithfully served over 25 years as the Marine Rescue Squadron and belonged to both the American Legion Post 154 and the Tybee Island Republican Club. Mr. Brown is survived by his wife Sonny, his son Brandon, and his 4 grandchildren. We deeply honor and thank Mr. Brown for his service to the Savannah and Tybee Island communities over the years. I send my most sincere condolences to the Brown family. They, along with Barry's friends and all those who were blessed to know him, are in my thoughts and prayers today. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I yield back.
For what purpose does the gentleman from New York seek recognition?
Speaker, I ask unanimous consent to address the House for 1 minute and revise and extend my remarks.
Without objection, the gentleman is recognized for 1 minute.
24 years ago next week, the Food and Drug Administration approved the use of mifepristone, authorizing it as a safe and effective means for women to end a pregnancy through medication. In the ensuing 2 decades, there has been no evidence that it is not effective, nor that it is dangerous in any way. It's actually safer than Tylenol, and millions of women have exercised their right to control their own bodies by using it. So naturally, in their quest to control women's bodies, Republicans have fought tooth and nail to prohibit access to mifepristone. Women's health care is not some abstract concept. It's a human right. When Republicans criminalize reproductive freedom, women die, as we learned this week about 2 women in Georgia. On this 24th anniversary of mifepristone's FDA authorization, which remains the law of the land, I call on pharmacies around the country to continue to distribute this safe and effective medication to women who want it. I yield back.
For what purpose does the gentlewoman from Michigan seek recognition?
To address the House for 1 minute and revise and extend my remarks.
Without objection, the gentlelady is recognized for 1 minute.
Mr. Speaker, I rise today to recognize September as Suicide Prevention Awareness Month. Across the country, more than 60 million Americans are affected by mental illness. And unfortunately, many of those 60 million feel that they are alone. But we are here to let those struggling know that they are not alone. No matter how dark the world may seem, there are people who care for you, and there are resources to help within an arm's reach. This world is worth being a part of, and you are too special for the darkness to win. As co-chair of the bipartisan Mental Health and Substance Abuse Disorder Task Force, we are encouraging everyone to spread awareness about suicide prevention. Help us break the stigma around mental health. Lend a hand. Look out for those in need of help. And remember, it's okay not to be okay, but it's not okay to try and fight this on your own. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield back.
For what purpose does the gentlelady from Ohio seek recognition?
I request unanimous consent to address the House and to extend and revise my remarks.
Without objection, the gentlelady is recognized for 1 minute.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Today I rise to recognize longtime North Canton Hoover High School softball coach Jerry Goodpasture. After a long and successful tenure at the helm of the Hoover Vikings, Coach Goodpasture announced his retirement last week. Starting as the team's pitching coach over 2 decades, Coach Goodpasture helped Hoover win its first 2 state titles in 1998 and 1999 before taking over as head coach in 2005. He then led Hoover to not 1, not 2, not 3, 4, or 5, but 6 Division I state championships, including 4 state championships from 2011 to 2014. Coach Goodpasture's coaching prowess cemented the Vikings as a softball powerhouse, and as a result of his success, he is a 3-time Hall of Famer. He has been inducted into the Hoover High School Athletic Hall of Fame, the Ohio Amateur Softball Association Hall of Fame, and the Ohio High School Fast Pitch Softball Coaches Association Hall of Fame. Coach Goodpasture will be remembered not only for his impact on young athletes he coached on the softball field, but also for the students he taught in the classroom for 30 years. And as one of Stark County's most successful high school coaches of all time, Coach Goodpasture's legacy will forever live on in the Goodpasture Stadium, the Hoover High School softball field named in his honor. Congratulations to Coach Jerry Goodpasture on your incredible coaching and teaching career. I know the entire Hoover community is grateful for your years of dedication, and you will be greatly missed this upcoming softball season. Best of luck in your new chapter, and thank you for making Ohio's 13th district the birthplace of champions. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield back.
For what purpose does the gentleman from Utah seek recognition?
To address the House 1 minute.
Without objection, the gentleman is recognized for 1 minute.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise today to honor Edward Rose Newton, a remarkable Utah who served the country with distinction and honor during the Vietnam War. Edward, known especially as Ed to his family and friends, was born and raised in a small, tight-knit community in Joab County, Utah. The love of his homeland embedded deep in his heart, Ed traded the peaceful farmlands of Mona, Utah, for the treacherous battlefields of Vietnam. It was on this fateful day of October 16th, 1969, that Ed's bravery would define his legacy. While serving as a rifleman in the 82nd Airborne Division Ed and his fellow soldiers were engaged in a search operation in the jungles of Vietnam. Suddenly, they came under direct and intense enemy fire. In the chaos of battle, Ed witnessed his platform, his platoon leader and medic fall under the hail of bullets. Without a moment's hesitation and with complete disregard of his safety, Ed sprang to action. Running toward the deadly barrage, Ed began to fire at the enemy's position, enabling the medic to administer aid to the wounded. Standing open under a hail of enemy bullets, Ed suffered a grievous neck wound and was even forced to his knees. He refused to retreat. His focus was solely on the lives of his comrades. For extraordinary valor, Ed Ross Newton was awarded the Bronze Star Medal with a V for valor and was also honored with a Purple Heart. These decorations serve as a testimony to his bravery, devotion to duty, and a deep concern for his fellow soldiers. Mr. Speaker, Ed Ross Newton's legacy is one unparalleled courage and sacrifice. His story is a powerful reminder of the values that define our nation, the unwavering commitment to protect and serve others, even at great cost. May God bless Edward Ross Newton, his family, and all those who serve our great nation. Thank you, and now you're back.
For what purpose does the gentleman from North Carolina seek recognition?
Mr. Speaker, I ask for unanimous consent to address the House for 1 minute to advise no consent.
Without objection, the gentleman is recognized for 1 minute.
Mr. Speaker, residents are pulling out their cameras to take pictures with the legendary Robert Bob Aiken Jr. of Snow Hill, North Carolina, in celebration of his 100th birthday. Born and raised in Snow Hill, Bob went to college and returned home in 1945, discovering his passion for photography and opening Bob Aiken Photography. For more than 70 years, he's the local photographer, and through his eyes and camera lenses, he captured the most precious moments of our residents. If you wanted pictures of that special occasion, prom or wedding, call Bob. He's even known for just showing up on occasions. Bob was married to the love of his life, Saroba, for 64 years. His deep love for his family, our community, and capturing so many historic moments is unparalleled. The Greene County Board of Commissioners has designated September 21st as Bob Aiken Day. Now, smile, say cheese, Bob. Happy birthday. I yield back.
For what purpose does the gentleman from Georgia seek recognition?
Mr. Speaker, I ask unanimous consent to address the House for 1 minute.
Without any objection, the gentleman is recognized for 1 minute.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, I rise today to remember the life of Matthew Osborne, a dedicated editor, family man, and cherished member of the Northeast Georgian community who tragically passed away last month. After graduating from George Washington University right here in D.C., he began his 25-year career in journalism as a sports writer in Florida. Over the years, Matthew worked for several newspapers, going on to become the editor of the Northeast Georgian in 2019. His love of writing and commitment to objectivity earned him respect not only from his peers, but from his local readers. Matthew won numerous state and regional awards for his outstanding work. And through it all, he never lost his passion for covering sports. But Matthew was more than a talented reporter and editor. He was also a devoted husband to his wife Samantha, a family man and father to their 3 boys, Hunter, Cal, and Ollie. May God continue to comfort Samantha and her sons, as well as Matthew's peers and loved ones during this difficult time. Georgia's 9th District will always remember the profound impact that Matthew Osborne had on his readers and on our community as a whole. Thank you, and I yield back.
For what purpose does the gentlelady from Oregon seek recognition?
Unanimous consent to address the House for 1 minute and to revise the extent of my remarks.
Without objection, the gentlelady is recognized.
Mr. Speaker, I rise today to honor Tyler G. Brown, an author and constituent from Dallas, Oregon. Not only is Tyler an author, but he's also a corporal with the Grand Ronde Tribal Police Department. Late last year, Tyler published his first book, Tribal Honor. His story is an inspiring one. This is actually the third novel he's written, as the first two did not make it into print. However, this setback did not stop him from realizing his dream of becoming a published author. In his debut novel, Tyler blends his experience as a law enforcement officer with his passion for thrillers, mystery, and action-packed fiction novels. Unsurprisingly, his first novel quickly climbed the crime action fiction charts. Every year, the Reader's Favorite International Book Award contest announces the top books in a variety of categories, and this year they had a record amount of entries. The contest showcases thousands of authors from around the world, and Tribal Honor won the gold medal in the action fiction category. As the daughter of a police officer, I know firsthand the challenges that come with being in law enforcement. Tyler, I want you to know how grateful I am for your dedication to keeping the Grand Ronde tribe safe, and how pleased I am to see your novel get the recognition it deserves. Thank you for inspiring people and showing them that they should always chase their dreams. I extend my heartfelt congratulations to you and your family. You've made Oregon 6th District immensely proud. Thank you, and I yield back.
For what purpose does the gentleman from Texas seek recognition?
Mr. Speaker, asking members of consent to address the House for 1 minute.
Without objection, the gentleman is recognized for 1 minute.
Mr. Speaker, thank you very much. Mr. Speaker, today I rise to honor Judge Julie Kosurek, who is the 390th State District Judge in Austin, Texas. In 2015, the judge survived an assassination attempt by a criminal defendant seeking revenge for a decision she made in his case. Judge Kosurek and her family were stalked for a month before the individual attacked her, shooting her 4 times. Judge Kosurek miraculously survived and bravely returned to the bench to ensure that justice prevails over violence. Mr. Speaker, this is happening on an increased basis all across this country. I'm proud to be a co-sponsor of H.R. 8093, the Countering Threats and Attacks on Our Judges Act, introduced in this House by Chairman Michael McCall and the late Sheila Jackson Lee, and in the Senate by Senators Cornyn and Senator Coons. The bill helps judges by creating a state judicial threat intelligence and resource center to provide guidance and best practices for state judges. It informs law enforcement. Mr. Speaker, I know firsthand because my father served as chief judge of the Western District of Texas in San Antonio at a time when one of his colleagues, the Honorable John H. Wood Jr., was shot in the back by a criminal and killed. I think that we need to pay attention to crime and criminals better in this country, especially where they aim themselves at judges in our judicial system. Mr. Speaker, I thank you, and I yield back my time.
For what purpose does the gentlelady from Ohio seek recognition?
Consent to address the House for 1 minute and to revise and extend my remarks.
Without objection, the gentlelady is recognized for 1 minute.
Mr. Speaker, I rise to honor the remarkable life and legacy of an American hero, gentleman, Ernest Ernie William Meese, who recently passed away at the strong age of 99. A proud Navy veteran, Ernie served our nation with distinction from 1943 to 1946 during World War II, including at the Battle of Leyte Gulf, the largest naval battle of the war. And for his bravery, he was decorated with the Philippine Liberation Medal. After his honorable service, Ernie, a man of his word, built a life of dedication to our Toledo community in Northwest Ohio as a real estate developer and a tireless advocate of American Legion Toledo Post 335. The post marked its 100th anniversary with a ceremony at the Toledo Club earlier this year, and I had the great privilege of presenting Ernie with a U.S. flag flown over the U.S. Capitol in the Post's honor. Ernie was more than a veteran and businessman. He was a devoted husband, father, friend of hundreds, and a treasured community builder in our community intergenerationally. I extend my heartfelt condolences to his wife Joyce, their children Melissa and David, his brother Norman, and all who loved him. Today, we honor in America's congressional record his memory and his contributions to liberty as one member of the most unselfish generation. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I yield back.
For what purpose does the gentleman from Colorado seek recognition?
Mr. Speaker, I ask unanimous consent to address the House for 1 minute and to revise and extend my remarks.
Without objection, the gentleman is recognized for 1 minute.
Mr. Speaker, I rise today to congratulate the Olympians and Paralympians from Colorado's 4th Congressional District. To compete in the Olympic and Paralympic Games is one of the highest honors an athlete can achieve. It takes years of hard work, grit, and determination, and I am honored to stand here today and celebrate their achievements in Paris. Anna Hall, Jessica Tonys, Sophia Smith, Mallory Swanson, and Derek White have all dedicated their lives to advancing their sports. To them I say congratulations. Each one of you have reached the top of your personal Everest. I hope that you feel incredibly proud when you reflect on your time in Paris and you take a moment to celebrate your amazing accomplishments. Each of you has had to persevere through injuries, defeats, and personal setbacks. The example you have set serves as an inspiration for future generations of athletes, and is something you should be deeply proud of. Colorado's 4th Congressional District was lucky to have such high-caliber athletes representing them this summer. You have made us proud, and I look forward to watching each of your careers grow. Thank you, and I yield back.
For what purpose does the gentleman from Ohio seek recognition?
Address the House for 1 minute and revise and extend my remarks.
Without objection, the gentleman is recognized for 1 minute.
Well, thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise today to talk about our retired teachers and police officers and firefighters, letter carriers, nurses, and the fact that for decades Congress has kept or stolen the Social Security benefits that they paid for and earned but have yet to receive. The Social Security Fairness Act will fix this. Millions of retired public servants will get their benefits each and every month moving forward. This bipartisan effort is the most co-sponsored bill in this 118th Congress. Yesterday, we hit a major milestone, 218 signatures on a discharge petition forcing a vote on the Social Security Fairness Act. I am ready to vote yes when this bill comes to the floor. Let's get it done, and I yield back.
For what purpose does the gentleman from Illinois seek recognition?
Mr. Speaker, I seek unanimous consent to address the House for 1 minute to revise and extend my remarks.
Without objection, the gentleman is recognized for 1 minute.
Mr. Speaker, I rise today to celebrate the 30th anniversary of Sones de Mexico, a nonprofit organization founded in the community of Pilsen. They're focused on promoting greater appreciation of Mexican folk and traditional music and culture. Sones de Mexico Ensemble has been nominated twice for a Grammy Award because of their world-class performances and their contributions to the recording industry. The group has also collaborated with Irish blues, classical, jazz, country and western, and rock artists, helping expand the reach and understanding of Mexican music. In 2014, with the objective of giving back to the community, Sones de Mexico Ensemble opened a Mexican music school with an impressive Spanish language curriculum for children and adults that has now expanded to serve over 150 sites all over Chicagoland. I'm proud to have such a talented artist in my district, and I cannot wait to hear and see where they go next. I yield back.
For what purpose does the gentlelady from California seek recognition?
I ask unanimous consent to address the House for 1 minute.
Without objection, the gentlelady is recognized for 1 minute.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I rise today to remind this body of the incredible damage inflicted by the Don't Ask, Don't Tell policy. For 17 years, it was the official federal policy to discriminate against LGBTQ+ service members and prevent them from living authentically or risk being discharged. This policy wasn't only hateful and isolating, it weakened our military and failed to live up to our values. Today marks 13 years since we repealed this hateful policy, and we won't go back. We won't go back to Don't Ask, Don't Tell or the possibility of a trans service ban with the stroke of a pen or a tweet. Countless queer people serve our country bravely. They serve our country proudly. They serve our country honorably, and they should serve our country authentically too. That's why we need to pass my Ensuring Military Readiness Not Discrimination Act, to prohibit discrimination in the military and protect trans service members. Our service members sacrifice so much for us. They shouldn't have to sacrifice who they are. Thank you. I yield back.
For what purpose does the gentleman from Maryland seek recognition?
I ask unanimous consent to address the House for 1 minute and to provide them 10 minutes.
Without objection, the gentleman is recognized for 1 minute.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Today I'm rising to thank and congratulate Dr. Hugh Auchincloss, who's retiring this month as the longtime Principal Deputy Director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, NIAID, at NIH, and its former acting director. Among other extraordinary accomplishments, Dr. Auchincloss's leadership at NIAID put U.S. scientists and researchers in a position to develop the COVID-19 vaccine, the fastest vaccine program in world history, a stunning and successful response to this staggering centennial emergency. For decades, Dr. Auchincloss has served his patients and our nation with a ferocious work ethic, unshakable integrity, and disarming humility and humor. It's no exaggeration, but rather a plain statement of fact to say that all of humanity has benefited from Dr. Auchincloss's devotion to the public's health, and I'm very proud to be his congressman. I'm wishing him, his wife, Dr. Mary McCain, and his children, Kayla, Hugh, and my always inspiring colleague, Congressman Jake Auchincloss, the very best during this next chapter of his career and his life. Thank you. I yield back.
For what purpose does the gentlelady from Connecticut seek recognition?
The House has 1 minute to revise and extend.
Without objection, the gentlelady is recognized for 1 minute.
I rise in support of the Trade Adjustment Assistance Program, or TAA, which provides a lifeline to workers who have lost their jobs due to outsourcing or other trade-related business decisions. TAA provides up to 2 years of robust job training benefits, and according to the U.S. Census, recipients increase their earnings by an average of over $50,000 over a 10-year period. This is not just an economically sound thing to do, it is the right thing to do. We cannot realize the full benefits of trade if we are leaving our friends and our neighbors behind. In my home state of Connecticut alone, over 1,000 people have been helped by this program to find new jobs to improve their skills, according to the Department of Labor. Unfortunately, the program expired 2 years ago, and Congress has failed to reauthorize it. That means over 121,000 workers who have submitted petitions seeking resources to improve their job skills have been ignored. Elected officials on both sides of the aisle like to talk about supporting American workers. It's time that we put our money where our mouth is. I urge my colleagues co-sponsor the American Worker and Trade Competitiveness Act and to demand that it be brought to a vote. The American people are watching. They want to know if we have their back. We cannot wait. We cannot afford to wait any longer. I yield back.
Under the Speaker's announced policy of January 9, 2023, the gentleman from Texas, Mr. Green, is recognized for 60 minutes as designee of the Minority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, and still I rise. And still I rise today, and I stand alone. I stand alone, Mr. Speaker, because sometimes it's better to stand alone than not stand at all. And I stand today mindful of the words of the great Voltaire, the great intellectual, who reminds us that it is dangerous, Mr. Speaker, to be right in affairs where established men are wrong. So I rise today to take a stand and to call to the attention of the nation that I love. I love this country. I salute the flag. I stand for the national anthem. I sing the national anthem. But I remind everyone that the greatness of America will not be measured by whether the Al Greens of the world will stand and sing and salute. The greatness of America will be measured by whether the Al Greens of the world will defend those who choose not to stand, sing, and salute. And I do. I defend them. I believe that the greatness of the country resides in our ability to have people that we disagree with, stand before us, look us in the eye, announce their disagreement, and yet we take that understanding that in this country we can disagree and still have a great country. So I stand today to call to the attention of the nation and the many who may not know. A good many may know what I'm about to share. And I have with me evidence of what I speak. This, my dear friends, is from CNN by Andrew Carey, July 18th, 2024, which would be a little more than 2 months as I calculate things. And it reads, Israeli lawmakers vote overwhelmingly against Palestinian statehood. Remember, July 18th, 2024. Goes on to say, challenging U.S. policy. This is the style of this article published by CNN. These are the words. The Biden administration received another rebuff from Israel Wednesday night, this time from the country's parliament. The parliament would be the Knesset. That would be similar to, not the same as, but similar to our Congress. So this is a rebuff per CNN from the parliament of Israel over the United States' long-standing support for the eventual establishment of a Palestinian state. The establishment of a Palestinian state. Now, this is important to me because since I've been in Congress, I arrived in 2005, there has been a policy of a two-state solution, a state for Palestinians and a state for Israelis. Long-standing. In fact, I have voted for it. I have voted to send money to Israel because I thought the two-state solution was the goal that we were all working toward. And I have voted for more than $50 billion, thinking that we were moving toward a two-state solution. Well, this article goes on to say, a two-state solution to the Israeli-Palestinian conflict has been U.S. policy for decades. I agree with that. It has. But absent negotiations between the two sides and a lack of sustained effort by the U.S., I shall repeat, a lack of a sustained effort by the U.S. to make it happen. Now, the contention in this article is that the United States has not made a sustained effort to make it happen. I believe that the Biden administration has. I have witnessed much of what the Biden administration is trying to do and has done. But it goes on to read, on Wednesday evening, the Israeli parliament made clear its position, voting 68-9 to reject any creation of a Palestinian state. 68-9, the Israeli parliament has voted to reject any creation of a Palestinian state. Many people don't know this. I'm grateful that CNN has published it. It goes on. The Knesset of Israel firmly opposes the establishment of a Palestinian state west of the Jordan River. Actually, it says west of the Jordan, but we know that that's the Jordan River. And the Jordan River is at the West Bank, and it's the West Bank of Jordan, not the West Bank of Israel. But it's a part of what should be a Palestinian state. So the West Bank, I will read this again because this is exceedingly important. The Knesset of Israel has firmly opposed the establishment of a Palestinian state west of the Jordan River. Now, if you do that west of the Jordan River, that is another way of saying from the river to the sea. From the river to the sea. No Palestinian state. From the river to the sea. Now, in this country, if you say from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free, well, that would be anti-Semitic. Well, what is it if the Knesset of Israel, the governing body, the Knesset of Israel, this is not just some person on the street, the Knesset of Israel firmly opposes the establishment of a Palestinian state west of the Jordan River, from the river to the sea. That would include all of what at one time was known as Palestine. All of what at